Hi, this is Scott with the Sawtooth Avalanche Center with your weekend update for Friday, January 29th. And I just want to stress that this product is not meant to replace the daily avalanche forecast. Please go on and check at sawtoothavalanche.com. Check our daily forecast every morning at 7:30 a.m. We'll give you some email about how to get that emailed to you each morning throughout this public service announcement that we have going here. So quick review, the ingredients for an avalanche. One, you need a slope, and a slope to define when you're in avalanche terrain, you're either on a slope that's steeper than about 30 degrees or you're below a slope that's steeper than about 30 degrees. And then you need a weak layer. And we've been talking about this weak layer all year. It's a layer of really ugly facets that we don't see every year. It's a once in every 5 or 10 year event that they're this bad, this weak, and this widespread. They're throughout the whole forecast area. And then you need a slab, which we haven't had a slab yet in the Wood River Valley. That changed in the last couple of days. We've seen a lot of avalanches every time when we have put a significant slab that's, over about 1.5 feet thick on this layer of weak snow that we have. Additionally, we do have a layer of weaker snow near the interface where this recent storm snow fell within the top, 2-3 inches of that. So we're also seeing avalanches fail on that. So we kind of have 2 weak layers going right now. But the biggest concern is that layer of weak, junk, sugary, faceted snow that's kind of near the bottom to middle of the snowpack. So the classic question, what's it going to take for things to become either stable or unstable? We've been in this kind of teetering, not quite stable, not quite unstable for the couple days before the storm happened, where you could probably ride or ski a lot of slopes and not have them slide, and you could ride or ski a bunch of slopes and have them avalanche. And right now it's official. There's no guessing right now. That seesaw has been thoroughly tipped, where enough weight's been added to one side of it that there's not much of a guessing game anymore. So coming into this storm the past few days, the Wednesday through Friday storm, they were forecasting 18 to, this is National Weather Service, about 1.5 to 2 feet of snow in Ketchum, and 2 to 3 feet in the mountains, something like that. And it definitely overproduced in a lot of areas. This photo was taken partway up the Baker Creek Road on Thursday afternoon. Since then, it snowed probably at least another foot, and there was like 2.5 feet of snow up there already at that point. So if we look at storm totals, this video here is a shot that Chris took on Thursday afternoon around Titus, around Galena Summit. Give you an idea how much snow there was halfway through the storm. So a lot of snow, and Chris is, up darn near up to his waist there, and he's a lot taller than I am. So it's, 3-4 feet in that kind of drifted area where he's standing. And it kept snowing since then. So the official totals are somewhere in the 25 to 50 inch range in the Wood River Valley and Littlewood drainage. And Baldy is actually just over 50 inches on their official snow stake for the Tuesday night through Friday afternoon period. That's 2.5 to 4 inches of water. And the Ketchum Ranger Station got 4 inches of water in town in Ketchum, or snow water equivalent. 20 to 30 inches of snow around Galena Summit and Smiley Creek, about 2 inches of snow water, and about 1/2 foot to 1 foot, or 6 to 12 inches of snow around Banner Summit and the Stanley area. So about a little less than 1/2 inch of water to 1 inch of water. So a huge storm in the Wood River Valley and Galena Summit area. The Banner Summit and Stanley Mountains got left out a little bit on this one, but still, an inch of water and 1 foot of snow is nothing to sneeze about. So we don't have a lot of great observations just because visibility has been so poor. But today there was an avalanche that affected a structure and buried at least one vehicle. It was apparently skier triggered in the out of bounds area near the bottom of, or near the ski area on the Warm Spring side. So this is as you're looking up at the ski area on the skier's left side. Then there are multiple skiers caught in avalanches in the classic Baldy out of bounds or burn area, which is you're looking up from the Warm Springs area from the road to the looker's right of the ski area. Both of those folks were able to self-rescue and get themselves out of there. Then the Warm Springs Road itself, out past the pavement, was covered with debris in many places. The county crews quit plowing that and put up a road closed sign yesterday. We think that several avalanches have come down since they did that. There were already some when they made that closure. And then today, just driving around, we saw dozens, at least 30 slides at lower elevations that were running down to the valley floor. Most of them were starting within 300 to 500 feet of the valley floor, so they weren't coming from upper elevations. The really kind of abrupt warming that we had today, where we got up to freezing and over freezing, seemed to play a role in that. And as you got farther up in elevation where it was staying a little bit more below freezing, there weren't quite as many natural avalanches that we could see. But I will say with the caveat that we just couldn't see very much today. Then there was a slide that blocked Highway 75 up near the top of Galena Summit on Thursday morning, and a couple other slides there today that didn't hit the road. A small one may have, but some other significant avalanches just in the immediate corridor either side of the road. And really, all our observations are based on being able to see like 300 yards either side of the highway or whatever roads we're on. So there's a lot out there that we're not seeing right now.
What's the language?
So big thanks to Lars Eric Johnson and the Sun Valley Ski Patrol for that video of that was out of bounds, not within the ski area, but a natural avalanche that happened this morning over kind of near on the river run side of things. So in the Wood River drainage. And that was not within the ski area, but that appeared to run down to the river, that avalanche that they sent us a video of this morning. Thanks to them. This is over in the Elkhorn Road area, just up off the highway a little bit. Some slab avalanches that ran down into a little pond that's there just a little ways off the highway. And this is up in the Board Ranch area, so kind of above some pasture land that comes down into that, or that exists down there in the valley floor. So it did not affect any structures. And there were no ski tracks coming in or out of this one. It appeared to be a naturally triggered event. And these are all kind of good indications of the size of avalanche activity we're seeing there. In general, they're not the huge monsters that you might be expecting. We haven't been able to see what's happening in upper elevations, but they're all big enough to injure or kill people for sure. So Chris's walk out along Titus Ridge, where that video that we showed earlier was shot. This is a good photo of some cornice that had cracked like 6 to maybe 10 feet out from the edge. And just a really good reminder that cornices have grown significantly. So they're not something that you want to mess with right now. Stay away from the edges. You don't know how far back they're going to crack if you get near them. And it's snowed a lot and continued blowing since Chris was up there on Thursday. Same trip. This is up looking at a slope that had cracked, and a little piece of the slope on the right-hand side. You can see where it's steeper had slid. And then this is that same trip up in the chutes above Titus Lake. So it looks like about a 2 to 3 foot crown, probably somewhere on that order, 3 footish. Significant sized avalanche that you wouldn't want to be in. And that was either remotely triggered when Chris was walking up, or it naturally occurred, one or the other, on Thursday. Again, it snowed a lot since then and continued blowing too. So the weather forecast, we're looking at kind of a gradual clearing trend where the precip, so snow and or rain at the valley floors, should shut off at some point tonight on Friday night. And then Saturday's kind of a transition day, and Sunday looks to be pretty darn sunny and gradually warming temps through the weekend. And we may see another good storm on Tuesday. Right now, this one's lined up to favor the Wood River Valley again. Not the size of this storm, because it's more of a 24-hour event, not a 3-day long storm like this. But we could see another good shot of moisture coming on Tuesday. So what does it all mean? So what? Well, the easy answer is stay the heck out of the way. We're going to continue the avalanche warnings for the Soldier Wood River Valley Mountains, the Galena Summit and Eastern Mountains, and Sawtooth and Western Smoky zones for tomorrow. The Banner Summit zone will be considerable, most likely. It's definitely a different picture up there. They didn't get anywhere near the precip, and they had a stronger snowpack coming into this. But those areas, so the mountains from basically Smiley Creek south to through Bellevue over to Cary, all the mountains around Cary, and same thing in Fairfield and Soldiers, are really scary places to be. The warning will be in effect, which means widespread high danger tomorrow. And then it may drop a little bit on Sunday where we may not have a warning, but it's still going to be just sketchy as all get out. So in a nutshell, you have this huge storm that we don't see that, maybe once a year, every 2 years, every 3 years, where you get, 4 inches of water in a few days. And then a really weak snowpack that we don't see every year. We see that widespread, really impressive faceted layer that we have going this year on maybe a once every 3 years, 5 years, 10 years type event. And to have both of those overlap at once, it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to tell you it's going to be really sketchy avalanche conditions out there. So the danger is going to be really slow to drop, or it may not drop for a while. When we had decent storms loading the same weak layer up a little bit north of the Wood River Valley, so around Smiley Creek and the Western Smoky Mountains, we kept seeing remotely triggered avalanches. And remote triggered avalanches, when you trigger something when you're either to the side of the slope or above the slope or below the slope. And we were seeing those for anywhere from 3 to 7 days, excuse me, following the storm. We're going to expect to see that again, where people can have these really unpredictably triggered avalanches for several days after the actual snow has stopped falling. There are no quick fixes. We're really scared about what's going to happen the next few days, hoping we get through this with no one getting hurt. And then we have more snow on the way Tuesday, so we'll do it again potentially. So at the Avalanche Center, we hate to be preachers, but we're all huge fans of Clint Eastwood. And Clint, one of his classic movies, Pale Rider, was filmed in the Ketchum Stanley area. Some great Boulder Mountain and Sawtooth Mountain footage. So I'm going to channel my inner Clint Eastwood preacher style. He's not your regular kind of preacher in that movie either. I'll try to do my best to stick with Clint's general MO. So regarding remote triggers and safety margins, if you're out there even near avalanche terrain, you need to make sure that no one else is around you, because you can trigger avalanches even if you're not in avalanche terrain. But if you're pretty close to it, like that event that happened outside of the ski area boundary on the Warm Spring side at Baldy today, where a skier wasn't in the slide path, but they triggered an avalanche. It came down and at least partially buried a vehicle, and could have seriously injured or killed someone. And this is probably going to continue to happen, the remote triggering of avalanches. So if you're in an area where there's anyone near you, you need to think about that, whether it's in the Baldy OB or in heavily trafficked areas around Galena Summit, or you're snowmobiling somewhere where there might be people who could buzz in below you or you hear other machines. Be really careful. Take care of yourself and your friends and the people who are around you who may not know where you are. Just make sure that you increase your safety margins, because you should expect the snowpack to be unpredictable. Expect the unexpected the next couple of days. And then consequences. We had 2 close calls in the Baldy OB today. So the area, the burn, or whatever you want to call it, but as you're looking up from the Warm Spring side of the Sun Valley ski area, the Forest Service land out to the lookers right of that. So it's out of bounds. It's not within the ski area boundary. But the consequences of being a slide there are huge. You're pretty much guaranteed you're going to hit trees. And the best way to envision what's going to happen to you is if you get in the back of someone's pickup truck, find your friend, tell them to pin it, get you up to about 40 miles an hour, make sure you're driving near trees, and then jump off and hit a tree once he gets it up to about 40. Because that's roughly how fast you're going to be going in a normal avalanche out on that side. And hitting a tree, that'll give you a good idea what to expect if you're getting caught in an avalanche. And obviously don't do that, but that's a good way to envision what's going to happen to you. So just recognize there are really serious consequences. Yes, the skiing is awesome, and the steeper you get, the better the skiing is because there's so much snow, but there are very real consequences to being caught in an avalanche. So that's my Clint Eastwood Pill Rider public service message for the night. Tomorrow, go check the forecast in the morning, sawtoothavalanche.com. We issue it by 7:30 a.m. each day. You can also sign up to have it emailed to you. At the bottom of every page on our website, you just type in your email address in that handy little box there that's in the red circle, and you'll be on the list. You'll get the forecast every morning. Observations, please let us know what you're seeing. In times like this, it's especially important because one, the visibility has been poor for a while, so we're starved for information. You can text us what you're seeing. Photos are great. It doesn't need to be anything scientific. We just want to know what you're seeing. Email info@sawtoothavalanche.com and tag us on social media if you see anything that you think is worth us taking a look at or knowing about. You can also, on every page on the website, just like the email, if you scroll down to the bottom, click on the blue button for submit observations, and you'll get a nice, either a very simple form, that's the default, and a more advanced form if you've taken some avalanche classes and want to give us more detailed information. That's where you access that. So most importantly, have fun out there this weekend. There's a ton of snow, and it's going to be a blast out there playing, getting face shots, riding around or skiing. And be careful, just exercise some good judgment. So thank you so much and enjoy your weekend.